this world is not quite as expansive as Planet Mira, nor is it as immensely graphically detailed. Although it comes pretty close when you consider all the details on the yarn. We'll be getting into that. But it's a nice little romp. And arguably one of the best Yoshi games. So yeah, to break up all the Xenoblade so that it's not all Xenoblade all the time, we're occasionally going to be visiting Woolly World. Now, allow me to start with your new favorite segment. If I press A to start, you can see that I've got different files to pick from. And I have my 100% file here from when I played the game originally. We're going to be starting a new file. Now, you might be thinking, this is a pretty simple file select screen, nothing special here. But I'm going to open each stream with this segment that I like to call Ways to Select Your File. Not a very creative name, it's very straight to the point. But there are many ways to go about selecting your file in Yoshi's Woolly World. For today's edition of How to Select Your File, I'm going to show you the button method. Enjoy the lurk. Anyway, to use the button method, you simply need to use either the control stick or the D-pad to move over to your file, and then the titular button, namely the A button, because if you press the B button you'll just go back to the title screen. Gotta make sure it's the A button. And thus, your file has been selected. Tune in next stream to find out a different way to select your file. Yes, I have a few lined up. You'd be surprised. I am playing on classic mode. Mellow mode is nice, but it's a bit too easy for me. Which is saying that, I mean, I'm not known for playing hard games, but yeah. I have my limits of easy as well. Also playing in one player. Welcome to Craft Island, a tiny place in the middle of the handmade ocean. Life here for the Yoshi clan is nothing but peaceful and leisurely. Or rather, it had been nothing but peaceful and leisurely until...
Hello, little Yoshis! Sorry to drop in so suddenly, but I need to turn you on to yarn. Thanks! At this rate, I'll be here through lunch. Come on, I'm busy. Everyone becomes yarn. This should be plenty. Well, I'd better get back. Toodles. That's quite enough. I've had it with you annoying Yoshis.
There's still hope. As Kamek flies away, he drops a handful of yarn. rather important Yoshi meeting is held. What do we do to save the others? We need to get that yarn back. Hurry, after that naughty trickster. And so, another grand Yoshi adventure begins. Will they be able to knit their friends back together? Onward, Yoshis! When you start up the game, you have two Yoshi options. You have whichever color you chose from the file select screen. For me, I happen to be classic green right here. And then you also get red Yoshi, which is there because, you know, you can play the game in co-op. So, they needed to have a second Yoshi lined up ready to go. But if you're playing single player, you can also just be red Yoshi. I'll stick with green for now, but maybe red will get the time to shine another time. We have a couple of huts over here, although they're not really going to have much for us immediately. I mean, one of them might have much for us immediately if I really spent the time on it, but I have plans for that later. Alright, unlike Xenoblade, this is a platformer, which means we have levels. Here's the first one. Yarn Yoshi takes shape. Which shape does he take? Does he steal the triangles? I bet he steals the triangles. No good triangles. Alright, Yoshi, he can move. He can jump. He can hold his jump to flutter. You can keep that flutter going if you're really good at timing your hold and release. I'm not doing the best demonstration of it here, but it is possible to go for quite a while. If you press a different button, he can stick out his tongue. That'll have different effects once we actually put that tongue in front of something. If you press the X button, he'll make this motion, which currently does nothing for us. The ZR button is another option to trigger that same effect. And so is the shoulder button. Let's see, you can also crouch. And you can have him look up. That doesn't seem like it'd be that important on principle, but it actually can be quite handy, so I'm grateful that Yoshi has the ability to look upwards. And I think that's about all the abilities that we have for the time being. However, when I put that tongue in front of an enemy and then crouch, I turn its yarn into a nice sphere. So that's the shape that we're taking. I thought it would be triangles. Game tricked me. We've run into a few collectibles already. Those are beads that we're collecting. They are the currency of Yoshi's Woolly World, and there's one thing and only one thing that you can buy with those that will unlock later. Yeah, there's that flower. There's 5 in each stage. If you want to play every level in the game, you will need to collect every flower in every level. That is all they're used for. I've seen that piece of string dangling off. It's a good opportunity to slice it open with our tongue. If you need any guidance along the way beyond that I'm giving you right now, you can bash these guys. And they'll explain things that may not be immediately obvious. Like making those yarn bolts. Now, I can't really engage with that piranha plant down there. You can see it's got a much more solid build, plus it's, you know, liable to bite me. So I could jump over it and, you know, leave that to be the case. Another thing I can do, press the X button, and instead of doing that dance move from earlier, I'm ready to throw my yarn ball. And that'll shut it up. I mean, quite literally, it was shut. It was forced shut. So we're able to use our tongue to open all sorts of things with strings. Now you may also be noticing that some of the beads we pick up have a special stamp icon on them. If we collect all 20, we get rewarded. Although the reward is no longer usable. I guess I can just come out and say that you got stamps for Miiverse posts if you collected those. And it was a cumulative total, so you didn't have to get every coin in every stage to get them. But eventually, the amount of coins that you did get would add up. So, you'll see me unlocking those, since I'm probably gonna get everything. But, unfortunately, I just won't have a way of using them. If you don't feel like eating enemies, jumping, as long as it's not a spiked variety enemy, can usually get the job done. Watch out for fake walls. I believe this block is here to teach you to flutter jump, and that yarn is placed in such a way that you'd be able to obtain it by fluttering. That's the last of our collectibles, the Wonder Wall. Getting all of those will get us something extra special. I mean, you saw Kamek tear those Yoshis apart, limb from limb from limb from limb from limb from limb from limb. It tells you about throwing. You can also cancel a throw. This doesn't often have uses, but you can see one of my yarn balls is bigger than the other. So let's say I'm ready to fill in this platform, but I decide either I don't want it to be purple, or I'd like to use the big yarn ball. I can keep canceling, and it'll cycle through my yarn balls. And maybe I want to use the big yarn ball because of one of its special properties. Okay, so I missed the shot, but it actually keeps going after it fills in an object because it's bigger, it's got more mass to it. So I could have possibly filled in all three of these platforms if I had aimed better, whereas the little yarn ball just stopped right there. In a nice little touch, it adapts to the color that you throw at it. I believe some puzzles later in the game do require using specific colors on specific objects. So that can also be worth bearing in mind. You might think that, you know, coloring, why, it doesn't matter what color I made the platform. I would never cycle through my balls just because of a color. Well, at some point you might. Alright, now we're really uncovering more of the secrets. These flippers are one way only. Okay, there's this cloud that I messed up here. So the reason looking up is actually a really good ability is because it gives you the ability to just fire straight up without having to go through the whole rigmarole of, do I aim up, do I aim down? There's actually two settings for throwing the yarn balls as well. I'm on patient style right now, but I'll show off hasty later. But you can decide which style is right for you. Now if I push this, it unveils these beads, yes, and that probably gives me Miiverse stamp patches, but there's also that cloud over there. I wonder how I get there. Gonna take some looking around. Mayhaps I missed something down here. Doesn't seem that way. And that doesn't push any farther. This sign right here is a checkpoint. It will decimate any enemies on screen, turning them into hearts. That is your health. And, you know, you'll respawn here if you die. Aha, that's how we get down to the cloud. I knew we'd figure it out. Just gotta eat our way through. How most Yoshi problems are solved. That's a Wonder Wall. Occasionally you'll run into a pipe, and you can't go down it. That's because it's an enemy spawner. Now, oh no, it's not spawning any more enemies. That's because I'm holding the maximum capacity of Yarn Ball right now, which is 6. 2 extra hearts. A way out. I don't want to use my big balls on that, because I know it's just more hearts that I don't really need. No, it's not more hearts. Never mind, that was a flower, which I absolutely needed. One thing to note is that the Wonderwolves, for the most part, there are exceptions to this, but for the most part, the flowers and Wonderworlds will fill in order. I missed that bead and I need to check if it's a me first patch. So if you see the second one fill in and then the next flower you collect, the fourth one fills in, then that means you missed the third one somewhere. There are some exceptions where levels are not exactly laid out in a linear fashion, so then it's a little harder to trust that. But otherwise, for most levels, it's a good little reference to be like, okay, I missed a flower somewhere in between this section and that section. If you want to glean that information anytime, you can pause and see how you're doing in the stage. So I got 2 more wolves to go and 1 more flower. I'm at full health, which does matter, and I got 14 of the 20 bead stamp things. I think they're officially called me versus stamp patches, but that's not the easiest to roll off the tongue. Oh-ho! A throwing opportunity. I have bloomed. Now, I'm gonna walk all around this flower, and also jump all around this flower. Because sometimes there's invisible secrets that, you know, reward you for exploring even if you can't see. Okay, that was the 4th wool, which means there is still 1 more beyond here. And one place I often end up checking, whether it makes sense to or not, is on top of these egg boxes. If it's not that easy to get up to, then I don't think it'll be there, but... Anyway, you got that mysterious circle of rains. Turns out that box is there to make sure that you have something to hit it with. You know what, it might have been this flower that I was thinking of. Because I could just go to the right now, but if I explore this bottom section that I'm not necessarily required to walk on, then I find an invisible cloud which contains a whole rainbow set of beads, and some of those, rather one of those, is going to be a me versus stamp patch. I should start calling them MSRPs. MSPs, for short. Another MSP right there. What about this up arrow? It's pointing to another invisible cloud, eh? I also could have jumped into that, so I kind of wasted a yarn ball on revealing that, but it's fine. I'll get another yarn ball right here as I pick up the last wolf. Gonna jump there just in case there was an invisible cloud in the middle. And I'm gonna walk on every inch of this. But I believe the cloud is in the pollen. Yeah. And the flower rewards us with the final flower. And at the end, we get the last 3 MSPs. So, to 100% a level, you need to collect all 5 flowers, collect all 20 MSPs, find all 5 Wonderwolves, and finish the level at full health. A secondary reward for the flowers is that the ones you collect will show up on that little wheel at the end of the stage. If you jump through as it passes through the flower, then you'll activate a bonus game for a chance at extra beads. Ooh, I covered a lot in that first level. I am very informative, guys. That little flower mark up in the top left is a indication that yes, the level has been 100% complete. Of course, you can also tell from the gold stars on each of the 4 categories. Now, you might be thinking, the later you go in the game, the more daunting of a task it is to do all of that at once. Well, I have good news for you. The game will never require you to do it all at once. If you revisit the level and fulfill criteria that you didn't fulfill before, then it'll get stacked on top of the criteria you already fulfilled. So maybe you find all the collectibles but didn't finish at full health. Well, that's okay. Just revisit the level, make sure to finish at full health, you don't need to recollect any collectibles. And then it'll all stack up and you get your 100% completion. Now, in that particular example, it might be easier to finish at full health if you're not inspecting every corner for collectibles. Alright, you got a power badge. However, the first power badge they give you is only able to be used in mellow mode, because it's a free get out of the course button. Yeah, the older Yoshi Island games were much more strict about that. So, unlike Xenoblade, I plan to make this a 100% run. Because I've done it before, and I enjoy finding collectibles. Plus, if I go for all the stuff, then we get, like, extra levels. Here's where the bonus level will appear when I get all the flowers in this world. So that's a level I couldn't show off if I wasn't trying to 100% things. Alright. Your reward for all the Wonder Wolves is a new color of Yoshi. I never played New Island because of all the infamy. But I did play DS. I had fun with it. Never 100% at that one, though. Though granted I was a kid, I could probably do better with it now. Anyway, the wolves we collected formed into Flower Yoshi, so now I can change into them at any time. Well, let's not forget, Red Yoshi wanted to help us on our quest too. I say we give a chance to them. Alright, Crafted World is similar to this game in a way, but also very different. I will probably, I mean, assuming I'm still streaming long enough that I get a decent break from this Yoshi game, I might cycle back around to Crafted World eventually. Because I do think that people sell it just a bit short. Like, yeah, I agree it's not as good as Woolly World was, but I still like it. World 1-2 Bounce About Woods. One major advantage that Yoshi's Woolly World has over Crafted World is the soundtrack. Take a listen. It's a really, really good soundtrack all the way through. And like, I can defend Crafted World's soundtrack to an extent, but it's not as good as this. Anyway, there is one move that I was utilizing there that I did not go over in World 1-1, and that's Yoshi's Ground Pound. If you press down while you're in the air, it'll do that. And on these trampolines, it gives you extra height. So, you may want to learn that ability at this point. Anyway, we did find this little hidden alcove over here. There we go. You already saw me find a few invisible secrets during that listen to the music section. Ground pound off this, get the extra height, and hold my jump to flutter over to this cloud, get the Wonder Wool. For collecting all the beads, I get rewarded with more. Is there anything on the left? No. Okay. Watching you, game. I know the secrets get harder to find later. This is a point of no return in the level, so be sure you've cleaned out that area before jumping up here, or else you'll have to redo the level. For 100% anyway. If you're not 100% in the game, then you do you. You leave when you want. Another little charming thing about the Yoshi games is I love when the enemies interact with the level geometry. Like how they're bouncing on the trampolines here. I crushed them with the present. Delibird wishes that present was that effective. I missed. Okay, so when it comes to throwing eggs, you may be thinking, I'm missing my shot a lot because it keeps moving. So remember, right now I have it on the patient style. You gotta be careful about when you aim. But there is a maneuver that I should probably explain to you. And honestly, I didn't explain it sooner because I kind of forgot how to do it myself, but I'm pretty sure I just remembered. There we go. If you hold the L button... actually, no. If you press the L button, and that goes for trigger or shoulder, in the patient style, what that does is it freezes your aim. So if you want to line up a shot, and you got, you know, nothing chasing you down, no time limit, then I can recommend that. If you combine that with looking up, then you can just carry around a straight upward shot. And then here... Oh, God, he must be on the trampoline. How they stuffed a whole present into that leaf is beyond me, but there we go. Did I already go down here? Where I came from? I think so. Demonstrating that here. Bingo, nailed the shot. Alright, there's a checkpoint there, but there's a secret up here. If you see a door-shaped object, press up. Perfectly good alcove down here. Of course there had to be something. Probably some MSPs. If you see a door-shaped object, press up. I think the game speaks for itself pretty well here. So there you go, that's our first example of a transformation game, mini area thing. Here's our first example of a bead jar, just keep hitting it. Usually an NSP comes out. Of course, I'm always very curious to get on top of blocks. Alright, nothing this time, but I'm watching you, game. Those blocks look weird. Break them. I won't be able to pull off a ground pound. Oh, okay. Well. If I hit the center, I might have been able to hit both. One thing I just showed off there was that you can eat an enemy and then immediately spit it out instead of making a yarn ball out of it. That's a potentially effective projectile against stuff, especially because it's much quicker coming out. You know me, I gotta check on top of the egg box. That sleeping shy guy was our hint. He was dreaming of flowers. See how it just bounced off the thing and hit him? It's great. Ooh, no, I lost health. I don't know if there will be any more hearts by the end. Yep, darn it, I'm gonna have to redo this level to get the full health bonus. Not all the collectibles, though. Okay, if you ground pound next to these egg dispensers, they give you more. I should have remembered that sooner. Those games don't matter too much, though, because I'm not going to be spending very many beads, to be honest. Doo boo doo doo, boom boo doo. That gave us Treetop Yoshi. And it opened a cave. Okay, so no gold star on this level because I need to do it at full health. I'll come back for that at some point. What was I about to say? I'm blanking so hard. Don't know why I can't remember all of a sudden. Oh, I remember. Wait, no, not here. No, it's after you pick solo or co-op. Okay, power badges, because we just got one. That's what I was gonna explain. This is what you spend your beads on. It is the only thing to spend your beads on. You have the free skip course button if you're playing in mellow mode. But now, for either mode, you have make all yarn balls big. So you can play a stage entirely with the giant version of the yarn ball. Kinda changes things up. There are no penalties for using these badges, other than the fact that they cost beads. It's up to you if you want to use them, but to be fair, the game kind of encourages it. Just from the fact that you get them all the time. And there's nothing else to use your beads on. But you can do that. But if you think it's going to make things too easy for you, then you can decline. Which is what I've done here. I'll show some of them off later. But here we're going through the sponge cave. I brought Flower Yoshi along for the ride. There's this weird barrier blocking this wall that's behind the starting point. But we have a chomp rock. Push it to crush stuff. Go for a walk. Doop-a-doop-a-doop. You can push it from behind, or you can get on top and do like a log rolling maneuver with it. I think there's a cloud here. No? Okay. I mean, that's good because I don't have any eggs right now. This is Sponge Block. It breaks when you jump into it, or when you roll through it, or when you throw stuff at it. Yeah, it's just very fragile. And, you know, that's a permanent breakage that you do to it, so be mindful of whether or not you want it to be broken. Here, I think in this particular room you could get away with breaking all of it and having no negative side effects. Big thing is just making sure you can reach this bouncy block, but you don't even need the chomp rock. A flutter jump will do it. Checking the other side of this pipe for a cloud. Checking on top of the pipe for a cloud. Going down the pipe. Now I'll tell you that you can ground pound through it too. Checking both sides for hidden stuff. Now, if you, like, go full hog with your ground pound, you'll, like, go all the way through, but if you hold back a bit, you can stop yourself short. So if you want to keep an eye out for secrets, it may be wise to not go wild, you know? Here we have nipper plants. They can be eaten, they can have stuff tossed at them. Pretty regular enemies all around. Did I get anything for beating you? You were hiding a cloud from me, naughty. I got my health back. And there's another egg block up ahead because I am running short on eggs now. Fun fact, when you hit an egg block with an egg, and yes, I'm still calling them eggs even though they're yarn balls, but when you hit the egg block with the egg, you get 3 to spit out all at once. Not always the most practical of advice, but it's true. Of course, here I am obsessively checking the top of the egg box again. Ah, the little heart corner. Eh. There's a Nipper plant seedling. You can stop them in their tracks. Or you can just eat them. But if they land on the ground, they'll grow into a full-blown Nipper plant. Get some good bouncy out of this. Wonderwall. I'm sure someone has made this reference while playing this game, but you're my Wonderwall. You may notice I'm making a bit more of a concerted effort to throw yarn balls at enemies. I have a reason for that. I'll share it later. Let's just say it has everything to do with being thorough. That's a weird empty space up there. I wonder what they put there. That's the way you gotta think when it comes to finding the invisible secrets. I don't want to jump. Like, there's this little area I could ground pound into. But I don't want to lock myself out of anything up here yet, so I'm gonna keep looking around. In fact, there was a cloud right here. With some hearts. Didn't need them, but appreciated. Oh, you know what? Here's a real good piece of advice. I'm gonna free this Nipper plant. It may cost me some health if I'm not careful, but I want to show this off. That didn't free it. There's a reason I don't want to use a yarn ball on it. Ugh. Maybe the guy over there will be a bit more cooperative. Nope, okay, my plan went totally wrong. And I did not get to show off the thing I wanted to show off there. Down we go. Underwall. Double MSPs maybe? Not even one. And give me those MSPs that I won't be able to use at all. Ugh. Before you leave an area, always jump around, run around, do whatever you need to do to rule out any invisible clouds. Hey, it's that Chomp Rock thing from earlier. Game, random empty space. Nothing is random. Now, seeds are an example of an enemy I can't make a yarn ball out of, so... Go ahead. Now I have 4. 5 and 6. Yeah, this Chomp Rock helps you get this secret, but if I keep pushing it, then maybe it'll reveal more. Quite a bit more, actually. Got that egg block right there, so I shouldn't fall short on yarn balls. I love how I call them eggs and yarn balls in the same sentence that time. That's flower 4. Alright, little thing about eggs. I mean, you've seen them bounce, but angled walls make for excellent bouncing material. Now we've got a variety of spongy colors to show off here today. Darker blue has no different properties from the lighter blue aside from appearance. Now if I'm careful about this, I can make like a sort of staircase here, and yep, that'll bring me to this hidden area. Nice work finding the final flower, Yoshi. Now let's see, that is the last Wonder Wool down there. So it sure would be nice to collect. Ah, wrong button. Woo! Got my egg. Let me ground pound it while you're facing away, and then I'll come in and snipe you. Oh, no, you don't. Woo! Close calls. That'll free up that bead. That's nice. This frees up the way to the Wonder Wool, as well as an MSP on the way. I kinda wanna check this corner. I have a couple yarn balls, I guess I can afford to check it. Alright, that's gonna be a way out. Save a yarn ball at the end. Kind of a jerkish thing, but you could accidentally roll over the Shy Guys and not have a yarn ball if you ran out prior to coming up here. But I made sure to eat one. So, like, everything's good. Come on, Chompy, let's go to the goal together. No bonus game that time, but it's fine, I don't really need the beads. You can hold it to fast forward that. I did not finish it full health. It's another one I'm gonna have to redo for that reason. Oh my god. Sorry, just adjusting my seat, but it's a tight space. And I had the camera zoomed in a bit further than that. Okay. Okay, so we reached 50 stamp patches. And that gives me a collection of 5 stamps. If I could still post to Miiverse, I could include these lovely shapes in there. But since that's no longer a thing, they're useless. Anyway, all hail Circus Yoshi. Taking on Big Montgomery's fort. It's a Nintendo 2D platformer, so of course we got 8 stages in a world. This is the halfway point. As such, it's a bit more boss-like. Watch out for these deadly spikes. They may mildly inconvenience you. Be sure to pick up some extra hearts for your deadly voyage. Did you know you can also fire your tongue upward for those hard to reach places? However, fluttering to that hard to reach place may be a different story, so I'm going to turn. Actually, I'm going to show this off. You can actually gain some height off of enemies, so I bounced off that mole there. I'm going to double back here because we took the upper path full of secret beads. That doesn't mean the lower path is empty. Could be some clouds just waiting to be run into. No? That was a waste of time? Good. I'm glad I was... Oh my god. By the way, small touch. Much like Kirby turns into a car in Kirby's Epic Yarn, Yoshi grows wheels when he's running fast in this game. To the checkpoint, grab the extra health from that enemy, and now we have these platforms that will roll us into a new dimension. Most of the levels in this game have entirely unique gimmicks. You'll very rarely see things reused, so I'll probably always have something to explain. Which is good, because sometimes I just don't know what to talk about. Okay, so eating those guys did nothing, hitting them with a yarn ball is seemingly done nothing. He's gonna have to move past those lava bubbles and get on with our lives. If you're on a seesaw platform, I think it's worth checking the extremes of both ends for hitting clouds. I tried both sides high up, tried both sides low down, see if they put an invisible cloud in either location. But here, getting on top of the egg box finally paid off. I'm able to jump off of it into that wonder roll. You can also aim and throw while fluttering if you're worried about being in a precarious position. Of course, when I say try the low points of both seesaw sides, I don't mean get in the lava. No need to do that. The ledge up here. Flower is mine. So that was another MSP. Dooby doo 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 doo. Dooby 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 dooby. Alright, look, if I use that big bounce pad, it's gonna, like, launch me right past that flower, and then what's the point? So instead... I said instead... Instead... There! That's what I was trying to do. Get all the beads along the roll, because, like, who knows if one of them's gonna be an MSP like that. Saw a guy down here. Wait, I just despawned those beads out of existence. I hope one of them wasn't an MSP, or else I'm gonna have to redo this level just for that. That's fun. It seemed like they were sticking to the roll, but then they didn't. How many eggs do I have? 4, 5, 6. Gonna keep walking this lower path a bit. That connects back to a place we've been. Now they're combining these rolls with the spike traps, so as you're jumping to keep your height, you gotta make sure not to jump into the spikes. A balancing act. That I totally failed right there. Beads on this roll. Nope. But of course there's gonna be beads and a wonder wool on the roll. Hello. The spikes, my god. So, I'm obviously one hit away from death, which is always lovely. Oh, I barely got by that. Well, like I said, I wanted to check the lower sides of things. Aha, there's a little platform down here. I knew my obsession would pay off one day. Otherwise, how are you going to find that flower? Checkpoints do restore a little bit of health. I don't know if I've had the chance to mention that up to this point, because, you know, the first few levels are very easygoing, not a lot of health loss happening. Sometimes empty spaces hide invisible clouds, but sometimes they hide invisible enemies instead. Or both. I found that one for the extra bit of health. Moles will actually stay on the ground and they'll keep turning around whenever you jump over them, really trying to hone in on you. Remember that property for much, much later. Couple extra beads in the last flower, hiding right there. You just need to take a second to not get hit by the spikes. Gonna go with the turn of the spikes here, but certainly there's gonna be something on the way back. Some extra hearts, appreciated. For making that full loop, those beads showed up down there. MSP waiting for us, and now I'll go with the turn of this spike. Just be careful about it. Certainly there's gotta be something in the corner. Okay, it wasn't the corner, it was on the top center of the platform. That was the last Wonder Wool. I actually missed a Wonder Wool. But did I miss it, or is it still in this room? You know what, I probably missed an MSP earlier anyway, so... You know, those beads that I despawned out of existence, I am positive that one of those was an MSP, because I'm sure the game would do that to me. If I need to redo it for 2 collectibles, you know, that's a different story. Now, this is an egg box, so I can afford to check for an invisible cloud up there just by throwing an egg, and then I can get it back. We're definitely not messing around, even for the first mid-boss level. You do need to be careful with these spikes. They put you in some pretty tight situations. Alright, we have uncovered... Oh my god. We've uncovered the boss door, and I pressed up to aim at the cloud, but it actually pushed me through the door, so that's lovely. Around the boss door, there's usually a cloud with some extra hearts, so that you can go in with as much health as possible. I'd be a little better off if I got that cloud, but I wasn't going to get full health out of it anyway.
Is that you, Yoshi, baby? You can chase me, but you're not getting the yarn back. Say hello to Big Montgomery, and say goodbye to your chances of winning.
The Montgomery, the Monty Mole, ha 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 ha. He's big, because he's large. You can jump on his head, and you can pound his butt. He doesn't really hurt you in the ground, but what will hurt you is his spike balls. Because this level established that spikes hurt. Fortunately, it's not like the original Yoshi's Island era game where the spike is insta-death. That black ball is gonna bounce, so just walk under it. They give you a few seconds to collect the beads at the end, and then... Yep, I was right. I missed an MSP, and I bet it was on that roly thing. You got a new power badge. I'm gonna go back to Craft Island because earlier I said something to the effect of, there's a reason I'm starting to throw yarn balls at enemies specifically. Behold the Scrapbook Theater. This has no impact on your overall completion percentage because the game never outright says you have this percentage. General completion of the game is based pretty purely around getting gold stars on the levels and getting flowers to unlock more levels. This is a whole separate thing, but if you're extra completionist, then you can try and fill out this theater. The enemies that you can view here are the ones that exclusively you've hit with yarn balls. So maybe you've killed an enemy by jumping on it or ground pounding it or eating it, but you never actually hit it with a yarn ball. Well, then it wouldn't be here, no matter how much you've seen it. And hey, free access to the soundtrack. That's pretty good for a perk. So, I managed to hit a Shy Guy with a regular Yarn Ball. You can see him do his little running animation. And his walking animation. Doo-dee-doo-dee-doo. If I press A, he'll do some sort of character-specific animation, which for him was taking a seat. Got the piranha plant. I can make it do its mouth flap thing. That's about it. The Nipper plant. And yes, I did specifically go out of my way to hit one of these spores with the Yarn Ball, so that would get added here. And you may have seen me hit a Monty Mole in that last level. And even though I couldn't kill it, I did hit it with a Yarn Ball, so we have the lava drop. So there you go. If you want to fill out your bestiary, you better bring the ammo. There is another cabin next to the scrapbook theater, but that's for a later time. And not a later today time, like a later on a different stream time. But we didn't actually get the Yoshi from 1-4, and we didn't use Treetop Yoshi yet. So I'm gonna send him into the Windmill Hills. Oh, this badge is so dumb. This badge, as it says, eliminates the threat of bottomless pits. You cannot die from a bottomless pit, even though you normally would. And by die, I mean respawn with less health. But even that gets mitigated by this badge. Like, it trivializes certain challenges. Again, I'll show things off later. Oh god. I briefly hit the wrong jump button. There's only one jump button. Any other button's the wrong one. Such a relaxing environment. I accidentally did a quick throw maneuver that I didn't mean to show off, but I guess now you know that exists if you've mashed the throw button after you've completed your aim. So if you've ever wanted to ditch a bunch of yarn balls at once, like maybe like that. I'm checking for clouds. Okay, now I haven't swallowed this enemy yet. I've got full yarn balls, so if I swallow it, it's just gonna replace one of my yarn balls and keep me at the max capacity of 6. But I kinda have a 7th attack, because I can just spit it out. I missed the piranha plant, but that was what I was trying to show earlier, before everything went wrong in that sponge level. This wall looks very inviting. A little weird for a wall to look inviting when, you know, walls generally keep things out. Or locked in. So, like, a wall doesn't invite you to leave or enter. That's what doors are for. Or gates. Or similar fixtures. You know that one big yarn ball colored the two windmill platforms simultaneously? That's something I tried to show off in level 1 and failed to do. Jumping up in the clouds rewards me with a flower. It also gives me a way back to that egg block because I'm totally out of ammo. This level will have you using quite a few, and I'm sure there's probably another spawner right up ahead, but I'm paranoid. Oh yeah, go back that way. There's nothing else for you up here, we promise. And then, if you try and go further left despite that, they will pin the camera down. Be like, no, idiot. We really mean it. If you have a screen transition like that, it's not a point of no return. You actually can go back. You might think otherwise. I thought otherwise until I did it. Say hello to the Gusty. I think that's its name. These, you know, sock-looking enemies. Let's just say socks, and not the other thing that they look like. Nothing's wrong with the ghost, but someone could misconstrue their design, especially in that color, you know? They tried to ambush me. Anyway, I need to specifically hit one with a yarn ball for my bestiary, so... Let's see. Oh, there's one. Does that count? No, that does not count. It doesn't count. I know it doesn't count because I'm still holding the yarn ball that I thought would have gotten eaten by it. I ducked under that one. That was a neat little dodge. Give me more ghosts. Goodbye, piranha plant. There. Mission accomplished. I do like that you can kind of color your own warp pipes in this game, and then the opposite side of them will have the matching color. Alright, this room is giving you 2 big yarn balls with the intention that you will carefully aim your big yarn balls. I will cycle through until I get to the big ones, that you will carefully aim your big yarn balls at the sets of 3, so that you don't need to spend 6 yarn balls at once. Of course, there is a yarn ball refiller thing back on the other side of this pipe, and you can just come back here. It would just be more annoying to have to do the 6 individually. Nothing in that pipe, even though it was obscured by a piranha plant, so you would think there'd be something there. I jumped into that cloud after I popped it, because if it had been hearts, they would have scattered and possibly fallen into the abyss. I didn't want that. So fortunately, it wasn't anything quite like that. It was just the beads in the Wonderwall. Okay, Gamey got this extra cloud over here, so... There's the hearts. Although, based on... No, we still got a bit of stage left based on the collectibles. Maybe there's time for more hearts. Yes, there's hearts at this checkpoint. Lovely. This dispenser is designed to give you all big yarn balls. There's no visual distinction until you start hitting it and you realize, wait, these are all big. There's some sort of... What the heck is that symbol down there on that thing below the platform? I guess it's just like a spotted pattern. It kind of looked like a face to me. And I know that doesn't do anything because I've beaten this game 100% before. Oh, wait, there's the same pattern right there below the checkpoint. You can kind of see how I thought that was 2 eyes and a mouth, right? Just a couple bonus hearts. Nothing here. Nothing in the center. Sometimes the invisible cloud is just like in the center of the windmill. You're telling me this low ledge up here was just for beads? Not even MSP beads, just beads. I'll go back a little ways and get my big yarn balls refilled. You ground pound the egg block, it does nothing because the eggs come out the top. It's like a hinged box. In some ways, the formula makes a bit more sense for Yoshi. What with his throwing? Like, Kirby's not exactly known for throwing stuff. He just kind of eats it. But I really like Kirby's yarn. That's another one that would be on the docket to stream eventually. Still no cloud, eh? Collectible... I don't have the 4th flower yet? That's concerning. I just kind of went into focus there. Yeah, I did miss the 4th flower somewhere. Wonder if I can find it. It would have to be in between here and the 3rd flower. I'm very surprised that I'm missing any collectibles in World 1. Came up here? Okay. I checked this one and I was like, what? Only beads? I don't think it's gonna let me back up that pipe. It must have been before I entered it. Or it's somewhere in this area, and I'm just missing something super obvious or not obvious. Well, hold on. It really looks like this ledge should be unravelable, but I didn't find any sort of trigger to unravel it. I can't push it in, there's nothing to grab at with the ton. Gotta be a hidden something somewhere that gives you a way to open it, right? There. I didn't notice that sprout after I beat the piranha plant. Ugh. Ah. Okay, 2 MSPs unaccounted for. I might stick them in right before the end. I'll just keep moving. Nope, they're just unaccounted for. Moving on. I did beat this one at full health though, so I don't have to worry about hearts next time. Womp, womp, womp. Now 15,000 beads is enough for 2 of those don't fall in a pit badges. Behold, Moo Moo Yoshi. There's some truly great Yoshi designs in this game, and that is already one of the top tier ones right there. Did I do a tier list of the Yarn Yoshis after I finished the game? And then would that have to include... Oh, there's a lot of Yarn Yoshis. That would take a while. Which stage is this again? It's shy but deadly. I got you, game. I gotcha. Really love the grass color palette here, but we have bomb shy guys. You can steal their bombs and wreak mayhem. And you can throw a yarn ball at them for your bestiary. And yes, there is friendly fire. That guy totally just massacred his shy buddies. And whether or not they were really his buddies after that performance, who can say? But... those bombs are going to be your only way through those logs. Eventually, the bomb shy guy should spawn a new one. Anytime now. No? You've reverted back to your primal state? Unleash your weaponous fury. Fine, I'll go ask your friend for a bomb. Once again, looking up has its advantages. I could have used that bomb for this tower. But I'll just snipe the guy on top instead. Vroom. I mean, hey, it's a good chance to fill up on some yarn balls. It's also a good chance to bounce for some extra height and get more beads. Present was a trap, but it rewarded me with a flower, so I'm okay. Saw that exclamation coin, the exclamation point coin triggered a special event where those bombs showed up. Be on the lookout for stuff like that. And yeah, just to reiterate, you're not gonna see very many reused level concepts in this game. We're 6 levels in. So, World 1 alone. And yes, I'm going to attack this flippin' shy guy for the bestiary, because I'm pretty sure they're a separate entry. Do it again. So, the first level was the obvious tutorial level, not too much happening besides some basic level geometry with the jumping and just giving you the tools you need to learn the main mechanics of the game. Nothing too standoutish. So then the second level immediately introduced trampolines. And then the third level with the sponge blocks. And then the fourth level, which was the introduction of those rotating spike pillars and ultimately culminated in the first boss. Level 5 had those spinning windmill platforms that you had to fill in and navigate while they were spinning. And finally, we're here in Shy But Deadly, where the whole gimmick is, hey, look at these bombs. So those are all very different from each other, and the trend does not die anytime soon. Plus, you still have these little transformation sequences sprinkled throughout. First, we were an umbrella. Now we're just a kaiju. Who needs bombs when you got bombastic size? Like I said, look out for those exclamation point coins. Have you ever wanted like a real close-up look at the Yoshis with their different designs? Just bring the one that you want to see to a stage that has a kaiju section like that, and you can see them blown up in full-size glory. There are very, very many. Now, I regret to inform you I will not be able to show every single one, because there are some designs that are exclusive to the 3DS re-release of this game. However, there are obvious reasons why I am streaming the Wii U original. 1, I don't own the 3DS re-release. 2, this is the HD version. 3, I don't have 3DS streaming hardware. It's not quite every amiibo, and I'm not just saying that because more have released since then. There were still a few weird exceptions back in the day. Doing a very bad job of hitting my mark with this bomb. Easier from the left side. Oh wait, you wrote almost. Whoops, I missed the almost. You are correct, almost is much better. Oh yeah, no, it performs fine. If you don't have access to the Wii U version and you want to try platforming through these stages, then go ahead, pick up the 3DS version. It's even got extra stuff that arguably makes it a bit more definitive. However, if you want high resolution and to enjoy this yarn in all the glory that it was meant to be viewed at, then you're gonna want to find the Wii U. Or hope that they port the game to Switch, which would probably be the best thing. If they port it to Switch, they can go back to the Wii U graphics, take any of the 3DS stuff they did and port it over, and then you have everything that you could possibly want out of this game. In fact, I'll tell you what. If Nintendo ever announces that a Switch version of this game is coming, and that it will have the 3DS exclusive content, or that it will have any exclusive content of its own, then I'm not going to stream the whole game over again, but I would. I just closed myself off from a collectible, I'm a dummy, but I would play the game to unlock whatever I needed, and then stream the content that was missed here. But as long as that stays exclusive to the 3DS, I will not be streaming it. So there you go. Nintendo, you have your incentive to release a definitive Woolly World. So anyway, I blew open this staircase before using that fake wall down there, so I'm gonna have to backtrack for that collectible. That's just lovely. Careful how much you blow up here, because you might want to be able to access certain areas. Okay, so I made sure I got up there. Do I want that cloud, or do I just want this wool? And I'm gonna try and get both, but I'll start with the wool. That was weird. It was not letting me spit out that bomb when I was that close to the wall. Frick. There's me using the enemy bounce for extra height again, even though I could have just used the other bouncer thing. There's an MSP. Last flower. So that hidden wall must have been the 20th MSP. Because I definitely missed something in there and I acknowledge that. I think most of the people who bought Crafted World will have already bought it. So I don't think a Woolly World port would deter sales of that at this point. And then you got the original Yoshi's Island is available through SNES on MSO. And Yoshi's Story is available on N64 for the expansion pack online. So what's that leave? Yoshi's Island DS. Yoshi's New Island, I guess, is technically a game that is not on Switch. There's Yoshi Touch and Go, I guess. I've never played that one. I guess it could be like a little DS collection. Yeah, but that one's not even a platformer, so I wasn't even really thinking of it, but it's already covered. Hey, remember all those Shy Guys throwing bombs at you? Now you can be one. Sort of. Alright. Oh, Yoshi Topsy-Turvy, which is Yoshi's Universal Gravitation or something to that effect in Europe. It's got a weird name. Like, Topsy-Turvy was the catchy American name, and then something Gravitation was used in Europe. I suppose you could technically recreate that with motion controls at this point. I don't think there was a Yoshi game on the Wii. Not exclusive to Wii, anyway. And this was the Wii U game. And I don't remember any on GameCube. So I think that covers it. So it would be Topsy-Turvy, Touch and Go, Yoshi's Island DS, Yoshi's New Island. Every other Yoshi's on Switch, so they're missing 4. Oh wait, and Woolly World. Woolly World itself would make 5. That's still plenty to do a collection with, if they wanted. Although I find that they very rarely do the sorts of collections that you would want them to. I did play Yoshi Topsy Turvy. I have absolutely no recollection of it, but I know I owned it and played it. Yeah, that one's not my thing just because I'm not into beat 'em ups, but, you know, certainly a cool thing for people to have. Anyway, I did start a bit earlier tonight just to see how that time would go over. I don't think it really made much of a difference at all in terms of anything. But I do think it means that I can wrap up a bit earlier than usual. There are a few other facilities on Craft Island, like the Yoshi Hut, and of course, the Amiibo Hut. And I think that we'll be getting into those next time. As well as seeing what lies beyond World 1. We're gonna wrap up World 1 and do that sort of stuff. Well, your feedback is noted. I'm still trying to figure out what works, because, you know, I'm trying to appease as many people as I can. I have certain limitations with my living space, though. But I'm gonna figure it out. Anyway, the next few streams will be back to Xenoblade to keep putting a chip in that, and I'll actually make story progress on the next Xenoblade X. But then, next week, we'll have 3 different streams. We'll have a Xenoblade, we'll have a Yoshi, and next week, I haven't formally announced yet, but I will very soon, that the piano stream of the month will happen next week. On the Saturday, I'm thinking. And this month it is an ad-lib stream, so it's going to be unrehearsed stuff, but I have an idea to spice things up again, so that'll be an interesting test for sure. All that said, you know the other thing that I'm still trying to figure out? Well, actually, let me stop the recording first before I tell you.